Okay, here's your study guide for your science test tomorrow. We are in units of measurement. First, we're going to talk about the customary measurements. 1 foot is equal to how many inches? Well, if you look backwards in your notebook, you would know 1 foot is equal to 12 inches. 1 yard is equal to 3 feet. And 1 yard is equal to 3 times 12, 36 inches. So when we're converting, we ask ourselves, how many feet does it take to give me 1 yard? It takes 3. So 3 times 3 is 9. There are 9 feet in 3 yards. How many inches in 1 foot? There are 12. 7 times 12 is 84. If you're getting any of these answers wrong, you need to make sure you're correcting them and making sure that you have these little notes down here, if you don't already, so when you study tonight, you'll know what you need to be studying and why it is that way. So 4 feet, how many inches? There are 12 inches in a foot. 4 times 12 is 48. How many inches in a yard? There's 36. I don't know about you, but I don't know my 36s, so up here in the margin, I'm going to do 36 times 9. 6 times 9 is 54. Put my 4 down, carry my 5. 3 times 9 is 27, plus 5 more is 32. So there are 324 inches in 9 yards. How many inches in 5 yards? Well, again, there's 36 inches in 1 yard. I have 5. I don't know my 36s. 6 times 5 is 30. 3 times 5 is 15, plus 3 more is 18. So there are 180 inches in 5 yards. How many feet in a yard? There's 3. Well, I don't know my 15s, but I do know a clock. And there are 4 sets of 15 in a clock. 12, 3, 6, and 9. Well, I have 3 of them. So if I go from 12 to 3 to 6 to 9, that's 1, 2, 3, and I get 45 minutes. So there are 45 feet in 15 yards. Then we have pounds and ounces. Just a moment, I need to move my keyboard here. We have pounds and ounces. 1 pound is equal to 16 ounces, and 1 ton has 2,000 pounds in it. So just like we did up here, we ask, how many ounces are in a pound? There's 16. I don't know my 16s, but I do know that 5 times 17 is 75. If I take away 5 of those, I get 70. I'm using friendly numbers, numbers that I personally know. If you didn't know that 5 times 15 was 75, which I need to add a 5, not take away a 5, it should be 80. 5 times 15 is 75. 5 times 16 is 80. All right. How many ounces in a pound? Well, there are 16 ounces in a pound. I don't know my 16s. I don't have a friendly number for that. So 6 times 3 is 18. 3 times 1 is 3, plus 1 is 4, for 48 ounces. Okay, how many pounds are in a ton. There are 2,000 pounds in a ton. 3 times 2,000 is 6,000. I can cover up my zeros. 3 times 2 is 6. Add my 3 zeros back for 6,000. Same as before, there are 2,000 pounds in a ton. 4 times 2 is 8. Add my 3 zeros for 8,000. That takes care of length and weight. Capacity is on the next page. I couldn't fit it on this page. So when I turn the page, I've got capacity. This is our big G with our Q, P's, and C's. Okay, still talking about the system we use in the U.S., customary. 1 gallon contains 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16 cups. 1 gallon contains how many pints? Count the P's. 2, 4, 6, 8. There are 8 pints in 1 gallon. There are 4 Q's in 1 gallon, 4 quarts. Inside the Q's, there are 2 4 cups. There are 1 2 pints. And inside those P's, very tiny, there are 2 C's. 2 cups. Alright, I had to let my computer catch up just a moment. I'm moving too fast for it. Then we are converting. How many quarts are in a gallon? Well, if I go up here, there are 4 quarts in a gallon. If I don't have this to look at, I can remember this picture and I can say there are 1, 2, 3, 4 quarts in a gallon. 4 times 4, 16. How many cups in a quart? 2, 4. 4 cups in a quart. 3 times 4 is 12. How many pints in a quart? Up here there are 2 pints in a quart. Could also count 1, 2 of the P's. 2 times 2 is 4. How many cups are in a pint? There are 2 cups in a pint. There are 2 C's inside that P. 3 times 2 is 6. How many cups are in a gallon? Well, there's 16. I could count all these little C's, or I could know right up here that there are 16 cups in 1 gallon. 16 times 2 is 32. How many pints in a gallon? Well, if I go back up to my picture, there's 2, 4, 6, 8. 8 pints in 1 gallon. 2 times 8 is 16 pints. That is the customary system. That's what we use here in the United States. Okay? The next we have the metric system. This is what the rest of the world uses. It works on the powers of 10. So your charge was to fill in the chart below. Up here we have King Henry died, kilo, hecto, deca, because of, this is our base unit, dirty chocolate milk. The C was centa and milla. Okay, we have 1,110, 1, 1/10, 100th, 1,000. Every step is times 10. So if I'm going from kilo to my base, I'm going 10 times 10 times 10. 10 times 10 is 100. 100 times 10 is 1,000. So I'm moving 1,000. It takes 1,000 of my base unit to give me a kilo. Okay? So what do we use? In the metric system, what do we use to measure length? It starts with an M. You should have written meter. You could have put an S on it, that's fine. When we're talking about weight in the metric system, we're talking about grams. And when we're talking about capacity in the metric system, we're talking about liters. So converting, we're using this up here to tell us how many times 10 we're moving, and our M, our G, and our L is our meters, grams, and liters. It doesn't matter which one we're using. Everything in the metric system works on the power of 10. So, how many meters do I need to get to a kilometer? Well, I'm moving from a kilometer to my base unit. That's 10 times 10 times 10. 10 times 10 is 100. 100 times 10 is 1,000. So I'm multiplying by 1,000. I should get 5,000. It takes 5,000 meters to give me 1 kilometer. Okay, centimeters to meters. Centa and to meter. I'm moving 1, 2. 10 times 10. 10 times 10 is 100. 10 times 100 is 1,000. Just added a 0. Meters to kilometers. How many meters were in a kilometer? It took 1,000. We jumped 3 times on our stairs up here. 12 times 1,000 is 12,000. Milligrams to grams. Grams is a base unit. We're going to milli. We're moving 10 times 10 times 10. 10 times 10 is 100. Times 10 more is 1,000. 7 times 1,000, 7,000. Liters and milliliters. How many milliliters does it take to give me a liter? Well, I just did milligrams to gram, so I know that it takes 1,000. So I should get 3,000. Grams to kilograms. Base unit is grams, going all the way up to kilograms. I'm jumping 3 times, which is times 1,000. So I should get 4,000. Liters to kiloliters. Base unit to kilo is 1,000. So I should get 9,000. Millimeters to meters. That's 3 jumps up here. Milli to my base unit up here. It's 3 jumps. 3 jumps is times 1,000. So I should get 2,000. Okay, so we talked about the customary, talked about the metric. The metric system is the same no matter if you're talking about length, weight, or capacity. Works on the powers of 10. Next we have time. Everybody in the world uses the same standard measurement of time. 1 minute is 60 seconds. 1 hour is 60 minutes. There's 24 hours in a day, 7 days in a week, 365 days in a year, 52 weeks in a year, 12 months in a year. There's 12 hours in the AM, 12 hours in the PM. So, minutes to hours. How many minutes are in an hour? 60. So times 60. I can cover up my 0. 3 times 6 is 18. Add a 0 back. Seconds to minutes. Timesing by 60 again. There's 60 seconds in 1 minute. 6 times 7 is 42. Add my 0 back. Hours in a day. There's 24 hours in 1 day. I have 5. I don't know my 24s. So I'm going to do 24 times 5 over on the side. 4 times 5 is 20. 2 times 5 is 10. Plus 2 more is 120 hours. How many days are in a week? Well, there's 7. 7 times 9 is 63. 63 days and 9 weeks. How many months are in a year? There's 12 months in a year. 3 times 12 is 36 months. How many weeks are in a year? There's 52. I don't know my 52s, but if I break this apart, 2 times 50 is 100. 2 times 2 is 4. 100 plus 4 is 104. The last thing we talked about in this unit of measurement was line plots and how to make one. So I gave you a little paragraph here. I'll let my computer catch up. The average rainfall for 9 days was 3 inches, 7 inches, 3 inches, 2 inches, 4 inches, 3 inches, 2 inches, 1 inch, and 4 inches. That's a lot of rain. These people must be drowning. Make a line plot showing the data. Well, the first step in a line plot, if you go back and look in our notebook, the first step is to organize the data. I need to put all of these numbers in order. I have a 1. I have a 2. And I have another 2. I have 1, 2, 3 threes. I have 2 4s. And I have a 7. So there's my numbers in order. My scale has to start with 1 and end with 7. So I have 1 and 7. So I have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, my label down here would be rain in inches. And this would be, my title of my graph would be average rainfall. And now I'm ready to plot my data. I organized it. I chose a scale. Now I'm going to put my X's. I have 1, 1, 2 2s, 1, 2, 3 3s. Notice all of my X's are generally the same size. 2 4s. I don't have a 5. I don't have a 6, but I do have a 7. I cannot skip these two numbers just because they're not included in my data. It's still on my scale, which goes from 1 to 7. So this is my line plot. We make a line plot by organizing the data, making our scale, and placing our X's. And then we can use this data to answer questions. Feel free to replay this video. It will be put up on Google Classroom after school today for you to study from tonight if you want to. Remember to take your notebook home. Remember to take your study guide home. Get that study guide signed so that you can get bonus points on the test tomorrow, Thursday, April 4th. Sorry, April 6th. Thursday, April 6th is your test.